Okay, I'm gonna cut right to the chase. I think dipperpines is one of the best characters of the past 25 years, especially in animation. The themes and story arc he goes through is next level. So let's talk about it. This will be more or less kind of a ranting and going through the show as it progresses. Dipper starts off like literally anyone if they were forced to live in buttfuck Oregon, working in a con man's gift shop. He fucking hates it, and for good reason. Everyone's an asshole to him, and his stupid uncle forces him to hang flyers in the spooky woods. But thank God he did, because he objectively finds the coolest thing possible in a spooky journal. Meanwhile, Mabel gets a boyfriend with his newfound spooky journal. He comes to the very fair conclusion that he's a zombie. Instead, it's gnomes that get defeated by a lawnmower. Dipper gets his awesome hat, and we're off to the lake. I'm not really going to touch on this episode, but I am going to mention the fact that if I brought over a dozen disposable cameras to catch the Loch Ness Monster and they all just got wasted by throwing shit into the water, I'd probably have brought on the zombie apocalypse faster than Dipper, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about mystery-solving Dipper. After being made fun of by the most useless cops ever, Dipper uncovers not the mystery, but a creep who makes out with cardboard cutouts. Honestly, Dipper, you may have solved a future harassment case. Here's a gold star. But then Dipper gets into a sword fight and outsmarts Sherlock Holmes. It's awesome. Then sneezes like a little kid and gets called adorable. This is the second demasculating joke in this episode. I wonder if this will come up again. Dipper then meets Gideon and almost gets his fucking guts cut out because this show goes hard for a kid's show. But then we get one of the worst parts of Dipper's story. Wendy. Look, I love Wendy, but this bit gets old fast, especially in season 1. But the first time it happens, we get another demasculating joke in the Lammy dance, which is really funny. Dipper saved the teenagers because he's an absolute unit of a man, and we finally get to one of my favorite episodes, Dipper versus manliness. As a kid who was made fun of for being scrawny and eventually hit the gym in high school, and now it's just part of my life, this episode is awesome. Dipper realizing that being a man isn't just about ruthless vengeance, but it's about the choices you make and sticking to your actual good moral values is so good. I love this episode deals with toxic masculinity, and the fact that Dipper listens to ABBA doesn't make him any less of a man than anyone who doesn't. And Grunkle Stan's reassurance at the end is perfect. Look up the scene when you're done watching the video. Then, once we get a good Dipper episode, we have a kind of bad Dipper episode, another Wendy one. Though admittedly, Double Dipper is fun. As someone who loves lists, this elaborate plan hits me deep, but then he gets out of his own head and commits clone mass genocide, so all becomes right in the world. Let's get back to mystery-solving Dipper. He uncovers, and I shit you not, a government national conspiracy. Okay, it's mainly Mabel doing it, but he was still there. Then we see one of my favorite parts of Dipper, and I'm going to call Stand on Business Dipper. He has the perfect vengeance plot against Pacifica, and he just rolls with it. Mabel's like, nah, bygones be bygones. Dipper says, fuck that. Here you go, Pacifica. Deal with it. And it's amazing. Mason Pine stands on business. Time for the best character in the show to appear. Waddles, the pig. Dipper keeps accidentally assaulting Wendy with a baseball. And when he finally doesn't, we lose Waddles. Time travel shenanigans occur, and Dipper finally agrees that assaulting Wendy is a lesser crime than giving Waddles to Pacifica. I've seen people say that both kids are in the wrong, and while Dipper did do the right thing in the end, Mabel kind of forced his hand. Still, another gold star for Dipper for the moral high ground. Let's talk about the consequences of these actions. Dipper makes a teenager so mad that he is about to get his ass kicked. So he does the only natural thing, summon a Street Fighter character to beat the shit out of Robbie. 10 out of 10 episode. Watch it after this video is done. Dipper takes the fall and gets his ass kicked and faces consequences once again like a real man. Another masculinity motif and theme coming back in Dipper's way. He takes the heat and responsibility, standing by his morals and mistakes. That's what a man does. Dipper then gets insecure about his height, what preteen boy doesn't. So he does the only logical thing, use the spooky journal to find a crystal that changes his height. That'll be all for this episode. Moving on to another. God damn it, Dipper, she's too old for you. Summerween happens, and Dipper is so in his head about Wendy that he gets his friends almost eaten by a demon made out of candy. Dipper, Halloween is fun. Stop trying to grow up so fast. I promise you it's overrated, but he learns his lesson eventually. I'm going to skip around a bit because Boss Mabel has nothing I want to talk about. Maybe if I do a Mabel video, I'll cover it. Then Dipper tells a story in the bottomless pit about having a deep voice and realizing his voice is just fine the way it is reinforcing the manliness theme motif. During the Deep End episode, Dipper goes on another Wendy obsession arc where he works as a lifeguard and tries his hardest to not get drowned by the terrifying Mr. Poolcheck. Real creative there, Alex Hirsch. Here's a gold star again. Dipper ends up doing the right thing once again for his sister, sacrificing his happiness, ends summer job with Wendy to help Mabel's new merman friend. So yes, Dipper's pursuit of Wendy may be childish in hindsight, but ultimately he also makes the selfless act, and this just reinforces it. Dipper is selfless, if not flawed, and that's why he's the best character in the show. This sentence is coming back to haunt me in a few episodes where it realistically reaches its peak. Speaking of Wendy, Dipper is so insane that he converts a DVD to a record to prove Ravi is mind-controlling Wendy. But then Dipper kind of fucks up and Wendy is heartbroken. Dipper suggests bowling and she justifiably blows up at him. Dipper is mature but still naive, and now we have an episode of Asshole Dipper. He kind of treats Seuss terribly. I'm going to just move on and assume this was a hiccup in the writers' department. But then again, when you make a perfect plan, your idiot sister and friend mess it up, it is fair to get a bit annoyed. So I guess... cool, let's roll with that. Now let's get to one of my favorite episodes, Dreamscaper. Bill will get his own video eventually. I already have one up on my channel, so go check it out. But basically, Dipper overhears his uncle hates him in his head and justifiably quits on the journey. You can only think you're hated for so long until you quit. Thankfully, it was just a misunderstanding, and Stan and Dipper's relationship gets an extra layer to it because we realize that Stan really loves Dipper. It's really sweet. It's just a tough kind of love thing. Then Dipper beats Bill with awesome imagination powers. Then we get to the pinnacle, the return of Mason's stand-on business pines. After being defeated by Gideon and, being chased by a giant robot, Dipper locks in, jumps into the robot, and starts throwing hands. Dipper gets his journal back, and all is right in the world once again. Throughout season 1, Dipper has gone for someone who was constantly made fun of to a guy that jumps into robots and starts fighting them, and that's only season 1 Dipper. Season 2 starts with Dipper ready to join with government agents to prove the weirdness of Gravity Falls, and in an effort to prove he knows what he's doing, he caused the zombie apocalypse. As you do, I guess. And the only way to save the world is just sing, because of course it is. Dipper also realizes the spooky journal is extra spooky with new invisible ink, which leads him to an underground bunker. Dipper at the bunker continues to be an awesome character, solving the Room of Doom riddle. Also, him and Wendy discover the shapeshifter, and we finally put the love plotline to rest. They agree to be friends after the shapeshifter traumatizes Dipper, and he is justifiably both sad and happy. It's a great realistic moment about realization and heartbreak. It's mature and weirdly hits different if you've been in this position. Seuss also finds an awesome laptop. Now that the serious stuff is over, let's get back to stand on business, Dipper. Dipper says that they should have charged Pacifica for a car taco. I will cover the Gulf War in a Mabel video if I ever make one, but none of you are watching this far into me ranting about dipperpines, so I hopefully won't have to. Dipper spends about half the episode trying to guess a passcode for the bunker laptop when Bill appears. Dipper gets desperate and makes a deal with Bill because he's an idiot and doesn't know genie rules. He gets into a sock and Bill inhabitates his body. Mabel defeats Bill with tickles, and Dipper has to go to the hospital because Bill has no concept of pain. With the laptop now destroyed, though, Dipper is now at a dead end. That is until Mabel finds a clue that leads him to Old Man McGucket. The crew goes on a journey, and we will see that Dipper becomes a lot more bold as he stands up for not only him, but the group. He also keeps the Society of the Blind Eyes memory gun. What a good Chekhov's gun there, Mr. Hirsch. Now, let's get back to time travel shenanigans. Lemongrab comes back to take revenge on the twins. They both agree to do an interdimensional gladiator fight to get Seuss, an all-powerful time wish. Not much for Dipper here, it's just a great showing of his compassion as he decides to spare Blended, and the twins agree to fight God, basically, for Seuss. But now, we get the silver medal of Mason's stand-on business pines. Pacifica shows up and she's like, I need your help. And he says, you're the worst, and slams the door in her face. But because the plot needs to happen and Dipper likes monster hunting, he agrees to bust Pacifica's ghost. They bust the ghost. Pacifica and Dipper flirt, very adorable by the way. Dipper gets betrayed, comes back like a champ, and then gets turned into wood in a horrifying callback. Pacifica saves the day and they mess up the white carpet and all is right in the world again. Until it's not. Stan gets raided by the FBI and Dipper's faith in his uncle is shaken, to say the least. The twins uncover fake IDs, and Dipper is immediately like, okay, this guy's evil, and the evil machine that the journal is saying can destroy the world is about to activate. Dipper almost pushes the button until Grunkle Stan arrives and they have a fight. Mabel gets convinced to trust Stan, but Dipper's final action before he supposedly dies is reaching to the end of the doomsday device, and then steps out the author of the journals, Ford Pines. The story of the Pine twins is revealed, and Dipper admits he was wrong to not trust Stan, and to be fair, Dipper, he had a very justifiable reason to not trust his multiple fake ID doomsday machine creating uncle. Then he gets all fanboying about Ford because he's the author of the journals after mind-wiping the entire FBI with the help of the memory gun. Then in the next episode, we get Dipper and Ford bonding over D&D. I love that he finally has a really good friend in Ford. They get a bit carried away, but I love that we don't spend too much time on Dipper trying to win Ford over. They click right away, and of course they do. They're basically the same person. I like that Ford trusts Dipper with the secret of the portal. It gives him the confidence that he's been needing. Then Ford gives him a mind control tie in the next episode, which Dipper describes as ethically ambiguous, but we don't have time for ethically ambiguous. Let's talk about the return of Bill's cipher. Ford basically says that he's going to hook Dipper up to a machine that keeps his mind safe from Bill. And Dipper's like, hey, no. So he puts the machine on Ford because he's really good at rationalizing and finds out that Bill and Ford used to be a couple. Dipper, knowing how dangerous Bill is, locks it and tries to erase Bill from Ford's mind. I like that Ford is like, okay, I wasn't being controlled, but if I did, great work, kid, as they protect the shack with stolen unicorn hair courtesy of Mabel. Now, let's take a break from the seriousness of Dipper saving the world and get to the fun stuff. Dipper feels like he's basically a cone when it comes to talking to girls, and to be fair, he's right. So his uncle gives him some advice. Be confident. And honestly, it works great. A bit too great. I really like that Dipper starts off as a shy, embarrassing kid and grows to be a confident person, as it really resonates with me. I was a very shy and awkward kid, and as I got older, my confidence and just people skills grew exponentially. So it's nice to see it portrayed, especially in a character I watched as a child. Also, I love the second Dipper gets confidence, women are all over him. It's really funny. But getting back to important plot things, the interdimensional fluid is cracking, so Ford and Dipper go on a mission together, and Dipper gets a chance of a lifetime, working under his genius uncle who has 12 PhDs. God damn, that's crazy. Honestly, I get the complaint of him leaving Mabel and growing up too fast, but this is way too good of an opportunity to pass up. This is the dream, Dipper. You cannot give this up. But now let's talk about the gold medal of Mason's stand on business Pines. Using the metal gun, gets shot up into the sky and saves his uncle from an alien prison guard. I mean, if that isn't a man standing on business, I don't know what is. And yeah, that's about it for Dipper. The finale is more a conclusion to Mabel and everyone else's character in the story in general. I love how he fights the mental fuckery in the bubble, and the joke about him hating Dippy Fresh is great. Then the twins beat Bill and leave the falls, at least until next summer. If you made it this far, thanks guys. This is easily the longest video I've made, so I hope y'all enjoy it. The next video is either going to be a Hank Pym EMH analysis, a Mabel analysis, or finishing up my review of the original Teen Titans show. So vote on that in the comments. Have a great day.